Welcome back, everyone, to the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships. My name is Gigi Morrison. I'm joined in the booth by Troy Weston. You are currently watching a Masters Open game between Gold, or Gentle Old, from Belgium and Uratau from Colombia, as we see Gentle starting out on offense, Uratau starting out on offense, and Gentle very quickly generating a D, giving themselves a very early break to start off this game. Troy, what can we expect from this game?
Well, this should be a really exciting game. So both teams coming into this game are 0-3, unfortunately. So neither team has won a game yet this series. They had a very tough pool, though. But both teams put up a good fight against Still in one of their pool play games earlier on this tournament. So one of these teams is going to come out with their first W today. It's going to be tough to call which one it's going to be.
Definitely should be a very exciting matchup. For the Post getting the first score of this game. So far this week we are in day 3 of the tournament. We've had a big mix of conditions, so a lot of wind, a lot of rain, some sunshine, but never all at the same time. Currently it's a little bit blustery, so not too bad. Gold now coming out with their defensive line. Uratau just getting themselves set up on the line for offense. As the pull goes up for the Post, pulling for Gentle. Instantly getting set up. Quite a poachy setup on defense. Weir to Torres. Back to Weir. Stoppage on pitch.
Looks like a foul was called, maybe a push off from the offense there. Coming in at 3.
Instantly looking for the hand, the reset now onto the far sideline. Back to the hands of Torres. Wonderful cut slicing across the pitch, but not being picked up. That was Andre. Sorry, that was Jackson. We don't necessarily have the most correct roster in our hands, but we are trying our best. Diving bid, but just out and past the fingertips of the Uratau player. Gentle now back on offense. Trappers on the sideline. Beautiful flick. Well read by De Sutter. Lee. Onto the other side again. For Post. Sending it deep into the end zone. Quite a few bodies underneath it. Who's going to come up with it? Just out the fingertips, a couple of bubbled hands. No calls made. It is a clean turn.
That was a really nice flick hook that we just saw from the Belgians. What a fantastic downwind and everything. Really reading that disc nicely, but just couldn't get underneath it.
Bomberes.
Oh, nice run through D there. Martin Trappers there for the double happiness.
They're really capitalizing on the Uratau mistakes. Getting themselves another point on the board. These Belgian players might be quite used to playing in windy conditions like this, it being relatively windy in Belgium itself.
That was beautiful bookends there that we just saw from Martin Trappers. Really nice run through D, immediately running to the end zone to get that for the score. Gentle Old, a Belgian club since 2004, so a lot of history that we've seen in this club. Their name comes from the town that they're from, which is Ghent, and so they changed that to being Gentle, and now that they are Masters age, they are Gentle Old.
Yeah, Gentle Open being a well-established club in Europe already, competing in the Open division. Quite highly competitive, often representing European championships. It's good to see their Masters players also able to represent. There's probably a large amount of crossover between the teams. The pull comes in. Vargas across the pitch. The Belgian. Wonderful deep huck, but just better read by the gentle players. Van der Leid. Evans. Fantastic IO shot into the end zone. Sees number 92 in the end zone.
What
Collins.
a grab. Well, that's nice spirit there, just making sure that the Colombian player is okay. Looks like just tying a shoe though. What a grab after that huge IO flick. Just a bomb to the end zone.
Very well read by Collins there as well. Gentle, not wasting any time. We see that inside shot. It's so difficult to execute throws like that, particularly in this upwind condition. And Collins making sure he was in at the back of the end zone, just having to quickly step over Vargas.
And that was Pote with the amazing flick huck there.
So Gentle starting off this game with relatively comfortable 2 points, 2 breaks. What do you think Uratau could do for the rest of this game?
Well, seems like Gold is certainly capitalizing on any of the mistakes that Urutau has made, and a couple of really, really close defensive plays made. Gold is really putting on the pressure here. They're not letting a lot of easy passes up at all for Urutau, so Urutau is going to have to get a little bit more precise with their throws in order to break this Gold defense.
Uratau centered in the pitch. Back to Torres. Also looking for his own inside flick shot to the number 12 shirt. Perfectly read, perfectly thrown. We don't currently have that number on our roster, so we do apologize, but fantastic read. 2 back-to-back inside flick shots. That was wonderful offense from Uratau.
That was Chris Chassis, number 53, with the throw. I'm not sure who number 12 is, though. Possibly anyone hearing this broadcast could come over and let us know. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can let us know in the comments. We'd love to know who just made that amazing read and grab for Uratau. Uratau proving they can flick IO huck just as well as Gold can, and giving them a point on the board.
As well as we do have an 80% response rate from the players at the tournament so far, giving their names and details for our rosters. Obviously things happen, some kit gets lost or players get injured, so they have to switch in and out, but we also just don't have some correct information, so we do apologize if we get some names wrong. We are just reading off of what we have. So, Uratau's D-line coming out now for the first time. Big backhand pull, upwind. It having a very good float. Not having a hard time receiving that in though. Goose on the sideline. Bernal back to Goose. De Vrij. Lucian's just throwing that a little too far out of the reach of Bernal. Uratau's D-line now has an opportunity to get a break.
I definitely like that look from Gold, though. Their flow on offense is quite nice. They're just moving the disc really smoothly down the field, looking for those inside shots quite frequently, actually. So Uratau should probably get a low right hand on that to stop that IO flick.
Uratau's offense set up in a horizontal stack, so 3 handlers at the back with 4 cutters isolated in the lanes. Very comfortably getting the open under shot. Backwards cap of number 12, our unknown player. Centered to Beltran on the sideline. Back to Beltran. Beautiful dump and swing movement, but again, just out the side at its greatest attempt. Not sure whether he was even in the pitch at the time that he attempted the greatest, but Gentle not letting them get the opportunity to stop that and bring it down. Another deep shot coming off. Van Dam sending it to Lutyens, giving Gentle yet another point.
Gentle Old again capitalizing a quick transition from defense to offense and just passing that disc down the field like it's nobody's business through all of the Uratau players, unfortunately. But another great score from the gold team.
I very much appreciate the greatest attempt. It's not often that you get to see that. I feel like you do see it a lot more in the AUDL where deep shots are taken, but they might sail out a little further out. So fantastic attempt. And Gentle responding, making sure that they could get the D there. The diving body of Goose. Gentle converting a hold.
So oddly enough, Uratau is actually also a 20-year-old club. Been around for 20 years, and this is the first time that they have played in the Masters division, normally an open team.
That is wonderful to hear. It's good to see that the Colombian ultimate scene is starting to build and grow, and they have a good history and background to themselves as well. Vargas starts off with the disc. Receiving it again, very loud clap. Not sure whether that was a hand or a face onto the disc, but that was audible from our microphones. Amaya. A pick call towards the back. There was that slap again. The Gentle player very, very visually put off by that. Amaya. Diving bid from Beltran. Doing very well to maintain possession of this disc. Gonzalez. Oh, just flying through the wind out of the hands of the Uratau player. Gentle now set up. Can they get a break here? Evans. Andre, back to Evans. On the sideline, still count rising now. Manages to get a wonderful dump off. Evans getting the disc pretty much every other pass, and then into the hands of Callens. There has been another pit call, another stoppage slowing down the Gentle O.
Doesn't look like Gentle Old is really utilizing the close side of the pitch, getting that space open. They're really trying to just jam it up that open side there. So I don't know if that's because Uratau is cutting off the break side for them, or Old isn't really capitalizing. Hard to sell at this point.
Knocking on the door. Same thing again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Gonna repeat themselves. Evans into the hands of Callens, giving another score for Gentle. That is yet another break, bringing the score to 5-1.
Cole just raking in the breaks early in this game. Can they keep it up? We will see. Just a quick shout out to VC, outfitting the world's best ultimate player since 1998. If you're looking for some really nifty merch from Ireland, head up to the VC tent and check it out. They've got long sleeves, short sleeves, and some shorts up there. We've got some hats, discs from Discraft as well, another tournament sponsor. So go and check it out when you get a sec.
Yeah, can confirm that the VC shirts are extremely comfortable. They make our media kits, and it's very soft. I'm enjoying it. Very well fitted as well. Its unisex fit is very, I would say, flattering on pretty much all forms of body. So I'm very much enjoying it.
And the fun purple color that we get to stand out. Very nice.
Heck yeah. So Gentle now bringing out their D line. Big arcing downwind pull, moving very quickly towards the back of the Uratau end zone. Having to dive and just off the fingertips, very difficult to try and save that kind of pull. And Gentle Old responding. Hinnekind with the score for Gentle Old, bringing it now up to 6-1. They're coming away from this game quite comfortably to start off with.
Absolutely, and Hinnekind really being rewarded there for just booking it down after the pull to get there before that first pass, and easily just runs into the end zone before Uratau even realized that they're meant to be playing defense.
The disc just off the fingertips of Weir. Extremely difficult to try and redeem that kind of shot, but that is also credit to the pull sailing very far back deep into the end zone.
Absolutely. Gentle Old would like to give a shout out to their 292 youth players that are under 19. They have one of the biggest youth ultimate clubs in all of Europe.
That is something that we're seeing a lot of in European Ultimates, a lot of youth development. We see it in Ireland, right here, as you mentioned, in Belgium as well. We also see it in Italy with COSP trying to develop their youth. Very quick turnover from Uratau. Misjudged flick, unfortunately, into the turf. And Gentle getting very quickly set up. Portha sending it deep again to Collins. They seem to be figuring out who their best receivers are. And now it is 7-1. What do you think Uratau could do?
Big huck down to the end zone. It looks like they're calling a timeout right now to discuss that, so hopefully they can figure some way to quickly transition into their defense, or maybe just make those throws a little bit more precise so they're not giving Gold that chance to have that quick turnover and score. But I think we'll be taking a quick word from our sponsors here during the timeout.
He's in a great spot. He's in a perfect spot. Yes, his massive head has blocked everything. That was a huge play, but we have seen none of it. Finney, he's done it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the coverage of WMUCC live from the University of Limerick on the World Flying Disc Federation YouTube channel. You are currently watching Gentle Old from Belgium versus Uratau from Colombia in the Masters Open division. I am Gigi Morrison, joined here by the very lovely Troy Weston. What would you like to see in the next part of this game, Troy?
I would love it if Uratau could come back a little bit from this bit of a down trodden. Seems to be they're just struggling a little bit in this wind.
Gentle setting up Poachy's own. Going to attempt to stifle any sort of Uratau movement. They do have a wide open player on the sideline of Duarte. Wonderful swing across to Vargas. Back into the middle. Give and go. Vargas. This gentle cup being quite suffocating. Gonzalez struggling to find some options, but manages to get it off. Now again over to this far sideline to Rodriguez. Uratau now moving. They've generated some flow. Beltran on disc, surrounded by gentle players, calling a foul as they pivot into the gentle player.
That was some much better movement that we saw from Uratau. Clearly the timeout did them a little bit of good. They're getting off a few passes, working it around the field and that zone.
I agree. A lot more aggressive. Trying to move and break through this cup, taking on these break throws. And as they continue to swing through some wide open players, there is another call. So for anyone that is possibly new to this sport, Ultimate Frisbee is self-refereed. So that means that it is the responsibility of the players to be able to call and discuss any infractions or fouls with each other. Vargas managed to crash through the cup, but the disc being soared out to the far sideline. Very well received by Chun.
What a grab on that one.
Uratau dumping, swinging. Vargas to Beltran. Back to Gonzalez. Swing over to Vargas. This fantastic movement now. Uratau very focused. Mendoza, back to Beltran. Gonzalez. Beltran now in the cup. A lot of shouting from the gentle sideline, possibly calling for a match defensive change. Can they stifle the Uratau offense? Montenegro. Very high disc. Flies out, just out to the sideline, bouncing off the fingertips of Mendoza.
To be fair, the wind just did pick up, unfortunately, for the Uratau players.
Gentle immediately taking the deep shot and also flying out of the hands of trappers. Whilst it is extremely difficult to throw in this wind, also receiving any sort of discs, you have to take an extra second to concentrate and make sure that it is actually going to get into your hands. Uratau trapped on the sideline. It's very advantageous for Gentle, but Uratau being aggressive in breaking this cup. Montenegro. Another call, and this has been a travel, but play continues on. Gentle getting right in the way. Collins breaking into the cup. High release backhand, but too many bodies under the disc, generating another turnover. So a little bit of confusion to start off this next offensive possession.
Ooh.
They got themselves established in their pivot, which meant that they had to take the disc from where it was rather than from the front end zone line. Vargas. Mendoza. Beltran. Gentle still maintaining this cup, but not much movement from Uratau. They're much more stagnant now. Beltran forcing the cup out of the way. This wind picking up. It's quite blustery, but Uratau are on the high side The wind is moving towards the camera currently. So again, not much movement from Uratau, but they managed to break around the back. There's no continuation. Just out the hands of Gonzalez, bubbles, not necessarily watching the disc, but quick pop pass into the end zone, giving Gentle another point. That was an extremely fast offensive possession there, but Van Hee catching the disc, taking half for Gentle Old.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times that Gentle Old's just able to really pick up that disc after the D and get it moving again, and a couple of times it hasn't worked out in their favor, as they may seem just a bit too impatient, not necessarily looking for that perfect pass, but more often than not it has really paid off for them, and as we see, the score has just rocketed for them.
Yes, Gentle definitely capitalizing on Uratau's mistakes. They themselves have made a couple of mistakes, but hopefully in this halftime both teams can have a quick discussion, figure out what they need to do coming into the second half. And as the players take a quick break, we will also take a break too, grab a snack, grab some drinks, and join us again in about 5 minutes.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ultimate TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
much always like, but you could just keep on the break if you want to stop
Belgians are adamant they don't have to.
Number 2, but you're just going to have to imagine.
I wasn't really hot.
I was looking at the table, I was thinking that. So I was just going to reward. It's like, it's not that one, it's the
captain was like, I really like everybody.
just restarting at ceremony. Oh!
Let the A's one.
Team in still Noah. Someone?
Oh, yeah.
Is it still tapping?
If you notice we can turn the game,
Still back. I just think so, man.
I'll do that, don't worry, mate. You focus on the sky. How you getting on with that? Good? Thanks. Any chance it was 82?
Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of this game. Gentle Old versus Uratau in the Masters Open Division. We are at WMUCC at the University of Limerick. Gentle Old now starting on offense for the second half. So far, they've been completely dominant in this game, putting up a very strong zone, and now having to play against Uratau's zone itself. Fantastic defensive bid from the Uratau player. She's Madia, sorry. Hop, picking up the disc. Stop on the sideline. Uratau with a vertical stack manages to dump it across the Torres. Sorry, Chassis. Sending it deep to Hop. Not necessarily able to maintain possession. Little bubble, but even already out the back of the end zone, giving Gentle another opportunity.
We're seeing some pretty good aggressive defense coming out here from Uratau, trying to match that level of defense that we saw in the first half from Gold. And we've had a couple of flying bids, one of them successful there. One bid from Chen, another one from Chéad that was the successful one. So let's see if the pressure that can be put back on Gold again.
Goose. Breaking into the middle. Lutyens. Back to Goose. To Frey. Gentle doing really well to pass the disc through this Uratau defense. So good, in fact, that I cannot keep up with who is maintaining the disc. That is my fault, not theirs. Van Dam. Back to Goose. Uratau now switching to match defense. Goose getting the disc pretty much every other pass, now knocking on the door. Molion. Manages to get it through, but there seems to have been another call. Not sure what has happened.
That IO flick, though, just continues to pose a dangerous threat to the Uratau players. You would think that by now they would figure to clamp down on that IO flick there.
Gentle definitely using their break side very effectively. Van Dam on disc. Both teams just having a quick discussion, trying to figure out what's happening. The disc is going back to Goose. No hand signal being used, so we don't actually know what's happening. Coming in, stalling 2. Back into the end zone, but too many hands, too many people in the way. Uratau generate the D. Get it moving very quickly. Hop. To Weir. Just out the fingertips of Chassis, having to bid. De Frey. Molion. And again, Hop. Fantastic body positioning, getting in the way, looking to send it deep. But the Uratau player was not wanting that, did not like that look, and gave up pretty early. For Linda. Back to De Frey. Well done. Lots of options, using their slicing shots very effectively. Goose out to Molio, but there has been another pick call. Very intense defense from Uratau so far.
I've noticed a lot of their marks are quite open, so that IO is quite an easy shot. If you see number 25 now on that mark, it's very open.
Almost trying to milk it into the end zone. Did they get it in? Nobody's calling it out, so Lutien's there getting credited with the score. Fantastic shot, milking it in, bringing them up to 9-1.
And Lutien just wants to give a shout out to his sporting hero, Tom, from Tom's Tourney. Unfortunately, he passed away in a motorcycle accident when he was 8, and his father took him to the training on Sunday morning with the team, and he got to see him play. He was the most spectacular player on the team and became his Frisbee hero right then and there. Also wants to give a shout out to his girlfriend, daughters, parents, brother and sisters, and colleagues back at home.
It's a tragic story, giving birth to one of the most enjoyable tournaments in European Ultimate. Tom's Tourney is definitely a favorite amongst a lot of the European players. Gentle being one of the home teams for that tournament. Now, Gentle seeming to figure out what is happening. They're going to be setting up a defense. I would imagine that they are going to set up that cup zone again, which is why they had to give the disc away to their deepest player. Fantastic pull in on the sideline of the end zone. Beltran also receiving the disc very often. Slightly different zone look now from Gentle. Mendoza moving the force out of the way extremely effectively, but chooses to center it back to Beltran. Mendoza again. Doesn't necessarily have anything along the sideline, no continuations, they're not moving the zone. Vargas. Back to Beltran. Mendoza now. Bright orange boots contrasting with the black kit. Vargas. You can hear some of the sideline players calling for them to move. Beltran takes that into account, follows his disc, follows every pass.
The handler's doing a really good job of trying to move it around this, what appears to be a two-person cup. I can't quite tell what kind of zone this is.
It looks reminiscent to an FSU, where you have 3 handler marks in the front, a mullet, 2 wings, and a deep. It can be quite aggressive, but they appear to have added a few extra people towards the front now, where Uratau are trying to stretch it wide rather than stretch it deep, which is causing a lot of compression. They're not able to break through this match marked handler set. Beltran. Across to Mendoza. Now into Callahan country in the end zone. Fantastic fakes from Mendoza. Good movement. Gets into Vargas. Apologies, that's Rodriguez. Just out of the hands. Gentle trying to jam it in immediately. But Rodriguez saying, no thank you, I will take that.
And that's where that patience on that Belgian turn could come in really handy, because we got what they were looking for. They got the bobbled pass, making Uratau pass so many times they finally get a drop, but they can't capitalize on that turn.
Mendoza using his fakes effectively again. Vargas now stuck. Not very many options, deep in the end zone, and a lot of very tall hand bodies in the way. Mendoza. Beltran. This could possibly be double teaming, depending on how far away the players are. Looking to break around this force. Stall count now rising. Not very many options, but manages to just pop it off to Vargas. Uratau being pushed further and further back. Belgium trying to communicate, to give more options. Vargas now stuck again, stall count rising. There appears to have been some sort of call.
They are just getting pushed further and further back into that corner that you do not want to be in. Belgium doing a really good job of just that huge pressure defense. Uratau cannot break this corner at the moment.
Uratau now running out of pitch, but managing to find a fantastic swing and a breakthrough. The gentle players almost having an opportunity at a Callahan. Very quick pop in, trying to suffocate as much as possible, giving them the extra point. That is exactly what they wanted.
Lots of credit to the Uratau handlers, though. I mean, it is not easy in these conditions. This wind is just blowing straight at them. These tall players from Gent are just all over them, and they cannot find a way to break it up the field and get past their brick line. They're doing a great job of passing it between the handlers, but all Gent has to do at this moment in time is just wait for that one mistake. Pass after pass after pass, and it eventually has been happening, unfortunately for Uratau.
Uratau finally getting an opportunity to generate some flow, moving the disc. They found that dump, a swing, and a fantastic continuation, but the gentle defense was too switched on. Trapper's managing to get his hands right in the way, smack it out of the air, and almost giving an opportunity for a Callahan, but just took the simple pop into the friendly end zone instead.
Luckily, Uratau are at least enjoying a really lovely stint in Ireland. None of them have ever been to Ireland before. I was speaking with them before the game. They're also really loving that Guinness beer, having it being stopped being sold in Colombia lately. So
It's such a shame because Guinness, having known a few Irish friends before, they say it's like liquid bread. So it's very good fuel for tournaments like this.
Of course the Irish would say that.
Gentle having generated a D very quickly now to Hinnekint on disc. Lee. Another call. Disc checked in rather rapidly. Underlight throwing that disc off, and there's a lot of bodies. Big collision between some players. The Gentle player is now down.
Looked like he had almost had that in his hand, or at least may have had that in his hand, and hitting the ground knocked it out. I'm not sure at this point. But he came out of nowhere, it seemed to be. Just a second effort on that grab there.
When catching that, a little too much. Possible ground strip there.
Yeah, it looked like a ground strip. But what a grab by Andre there.
So game advisors having signaled an injury. The player is coming off of the pitch, and it has been determined as a turnover. So Uratau, another opportunity on offense. Can they work it in for another point? Montenegro. Big Fix trying to communicate, to move their bodies up the pitch. A deep shot caught in the wind. It's sailing too far deep, not able to catch up. Another turnover. Gentle now having to work it all the way upwind again, though.
So Uratau actually come from a city in Colombia called, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Cajica? Cajica? Sounds like a really beautiful place though.
Evans. On the right, sending it deep to the bidding. Van He not able to catch that and convert. Vargas picking up. Across to the number 27, who I do not have on my roster. Beautiful upline shot, but to the wrong player, unfortunately. Giving a thumbs up to the stream, but Bus getting right in the way. Gentle not taking any opportunities. They are getting the offense started. Evans. Dumps to Lee. For Bus. Sending it deep into the end zone. Evans underneath it. Easy reception, wide open. The Uratau player taking a little bit of a fall, but picking themselves right back up, bringing it now to 11-1.
And a lovely grab by Evans there, who is a vegetarian and a volunteer for a nature conservation organization back at home. So you guys could be friends. You're a vegan, aren't you, Gigi?
I am indeed. It has not proven to be very effective against Irish food. There's a lot of butter in things.
Oh, that Kerrygold though, so delicious.
We just get a shot of that wonderful forehand huck into the end zone. Well received, well read. Remember, if you're enjoying the coverage so far, you can subscribe to the WFDF YouTube channel, also subscribe to Ulti TV. We will be having a second pitch streaming from tomorrow, which means more commentators, more free coverage, more fun, more frisbee. Not any more sun though. It's not, the weather's not really going to improve that much.
Never say never.
It will improve just once we've left. Sod's law, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Huge huck from Porter, but moves out of the pitch, onto the track, towards our accommodation.
Way out of bounds there. That's the wind for you here.
Hop jogging it in. I'd imagine has called a brick, which means that they can bring it into the center third of the pitch. Uratau again set up in a horizontal stack, trying to isolate the center 2 players. But Gentle answering with a very flat zone again. They know it's been effective before. Beltran back to Hop.
Almost
Shaking
looks
his
like
head.
a double slough or a diamond zone. I can't quite tell what it is.
Potter pulled the disc but did not able to pull off that throw. It's sitting a little too low, and Hop taking the deep shots to the Gentle players. Not necessarily the right way around.
Maybe he was just trying to get it out of his end. Get the Gentle players to work a little bit harder for it.
That would definitely make sense. Maybe take the opportunity to think, oh, if you're going to send it deep, I'm going to make sure it's as hard as possible for you. You're not going to get a simple pop into the front of the end zone. Traffers bobbling it out of his hands. Uratau not wasting any time, getting the disc moving as quickly as possible. Bijamil. Hop. Beltran. Gonzalez. Back to Beltran. They're moving through the same hands over and over again. They seem to trust in their handler sets. Big fakes, but Stolkamp rising, manages to reset. Gentle plays sticking out their arms, trying to be as wide as possible as he swings over to Vargas on the far sideline. Gonzalez. Back to Hop. Gonzalez slices it through to Amaya. Trying to look deep, get the disc away from this side. Fantastic backhand break, that was beautiful. Into the hands of Amaya, dumps it off to Beltran. Uratau now knocking on the door of the end zone in their final third, getting closer. Cheeky little forehand flick. High release into this sideways rain. They're now calling for match. Gentle switching up their defense now, but still remaining quite poachy around the handlers. Beltran slicing across the pitch. Bijamil. Back to Beltran. Gentle amping up the pressure on match. Not very many options, having to go for the upline pass, but it comes up. Hop now stuck on the sideline, looking for a forehand.
Yes!
That was beautiful. Uratau finally taking the opportunity, taking on those breaks that they know that they can do, and it's converted very well for them.
That was some great offense we saw from the Urutau players. One thing I will say for them is that they do seem to have a little bit more patience than Gold. And unfortunately, just before now, it hasn't really been paying off for them because they are being forced to make so many passes because that Gold defense is just in their face. Looks like there may be a couple times where there's double teams. Perhaps they're not calling those double teams and not capitalizing on that. But Uratau with the absolute great patience under pressure, looking for those right passes, and that was a really nice clean up the line throw there.
Hopefully throughout the rest of this game we can see more of that from Uratau. An increase in confidence. They know that they can take on those break shots, they can trust their receivers. Score is now 11-2. We are live from the University of Limerick all week on the WFDF YouTube channel for WMUCC. currently watching the Masters Open division. Gentle bringing up their O-line as the rain starts to pick up, get a bit heavier. Taking some quick dump pass options. Slicing up the pitch, Van Dam. De Vrij. Lutyens just bobbles out the hands. It has been called out and accepted. The disc is getting much slipperier.
The rain has definitely started. Right now it's kind of straight down rain though, at least there's that.
We can tell how difficult it is to play in on the directionality of the rain. Is it straight down? Is it sideways? Who knows? Gonzalez gets it off well. So a beautiful flick towards the end zone, but it's sailing, arcing in the wrong direction. Maybe wanted it to come off a bit more IO further out towards the left on the break side.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was the wrong idea, just definitely needed to come off a little bit flatter. He did have a person open in the end zone, but with so many bodies standing in his way, that was a difficult shot to try to take.
Molion taking an extra second to wipe off the disc, and Uratau taking a page out of Gold's book of just popping it into the end zone, not wasting any time. Why take an extra few seconds and getting reset when you can just pop it into the most available player at the front of the end zone?
I think that was Uratau's first break of the tournament, or of this game, pardon me. Really nice way to capitalize on that unfortunate drop that Gold had there just outside the end zone. I think with this kind of patience that we're seeing from Urutau and just the grit from these players, the score may have a large gap in it, but I don't think we can count Urutau out just yet. I don't think Gold can let up on that gritty defense that they've also been playing.
Perfect example of jamming it in the jam hole, as Benji Rees would say. You will be hearing the sultry tones of Benji Rees later on this week. Gonzalez absolutely capitalizing on getting the disc into the end zone. Gentle, ready on offense. For an upward pull that is fantastic. It's managed to get into the last 2/3 of the pitch. Gentle isolating a player. De Vrij. Uratau stepping through. Gentle not necessarily attacking the disc, but Beltran gets himself in the way. Gonzalez dumping off to Hop. Hop sending it deep himself. Beltran not in the right position. De Vrij. Back to Goose. Lutien sending it deep. Again, wrong angle of the disc. The wind sending it right down into the grass. We're seeing quite a few turnovers being generated now as a result of the very tricky wind conditions. It'll be interesting to see how Gentle respond on defense to try and slow Uratau down. Can they quite quickly pop it in again? Uratau now set up in a horizontal stack, choosing to center into Hop. Beltran. Back to Rodriguez. Rodriguez throwing it into the turf. Gentle now taking their time. They realize that they can actually have a breather. Straight up the line cut from Molion. Beautiful flick, getting close to the end zone to Van Dam. Van Dam throws it into Bernau for another Gentle score, bringing the score up to 12-3. They are starting to run away with it, but the energy seems to be quite flat across the pitch currently.
So number 3, Wouter Post on Gold would like to wish his 7-year-old son Isaac a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Isaac. You'll see quite a few of the players from the Uratau side choosing to wear gloves. We do have a glove sponsor this week as well. Friction gloves, grip for your game. Be prepared for rain, humidity, cold, wind, and more. Very effective at helping catch discs in these kinds of conditions. So Uratau on offense. Vargas looking for options, just out the hands of Beltran. Fantastic cut, but just a little too far out of his reach. Gentle, not wasting any time, getting it moving. For the post. Again out the hands, but second reception. André. Arcing backhand throw, can he stay inbounds? Toes it in wonderfully. For the post. Staying in the pitch, giving Gentle yet another point, bringing it up to 13-3.
Looks like it might be coming back.
There is some discussion.
It did look into me.
Some Uratau players are signaling that it was a goal. Very well-spirited discussions here. They are allowed to bring in the game advisors for some clarity on the rules.
They're even allowed to come and check the camera footage if they so choose to do so. Yeah, it did look like in that replay he had his first foot down inbounds in the end zone, and that is the call that they are making on the field as well. Looks like I should have waited till now to wish 43's son a happy birthday as he scores that last goal. Well done there for post.
It's a perfect birthday present for Isaac. You were just leading up to it. You timed it well.
And if you are looking for something to keep your gear dry while you are at the field, the Greatest Bag, also another sponsor of ours, the #1 bag designed by and for Ultimate players. Comes with all kinds of pockets for your cleats. It has a nice little pull-out thing that you can sit on. It even has a rain pouch that goes over top of it, I believe. Really cool bag, and a spot on the outside for a disc.
That sounds incredible. And as the players take a bit of a timeout, we will also take a few seconds break. Welcome back, everyone. When I said a few seconds, I meant a few seconds. We are back into the coverage of Gentle Old versus Uratau in the Masters Open Division. Uratau now coming out on offense. That pull is yet again soaring out the sideline, leading to a bricked pull.
Just to give folks back at home a little bit of information about the conditions, we are in a bit of a bowl, which is on either side. Surrounded by hills, and so the wind does come in here and swirl it around a bit. It can be very difficult to read at times.
Gentle poaching off the handler set. Fantastic fakes from Chen. Chen again on the sideline. Getting the backhand fakes in. Little too high, but bubbled and caught again by Chassis. Just dropped. Giving Gentle another opportunity. Van der Ride taking his time. There has been a pick call further downfield. Don't believe it would have affected the dump pass, but the disc is going back anyway.
That's a bit of a newer rule for WFDF, isn't it?
It came in a couple editions ago, okay. So it's not too young, but not too old either. Porta on disc. Just asking for some clarification as to what is going on. You can most definitely hear the wind is now picked up significantly. We're looking at the downwind field. Cuts being generated. Evans dumps it off very quickly to somebody who was not necessarily looking. Their eyes off of the disc. No communication. Chun to Weir. Out of the pitch. But Evans making sure that that was not going to come back in. Weir taking an extra second. Seemed to feel quite rough. Some of the sideline players saying he's working out, he's working out.
That's really nice spirit there from Gold, just coming over, making sure that he's okay. So I just want to point out the flying pigs that are on Gold's jersey. So there is a superstition that I don't know if you're aware of, that is, if you own a flying pig, then you can do anything. And so, very smart. I don't know if the Gold players know about this superstition or they just happen to have flying pigs on their jersey, but quite a nice little addition to that jersey. I myself own a little statue of a flying pig.
Ooh.
So
take with that what you will. Evans, sideline. Off to Porta.
Nice grab.
Good bust. Then we go back to Evans. The gentle O moving very smoothly. Quick backhand pop on the break side. Looking for more options in the front of the end zone. It's getting quite clogged. Stalk out high and sails on the break side away from any receivers.
If we could combine the patience and the dump swing from Uratau with the aggression of and quick turns from Gold, we'd have the perfect match.
I definitely agree. It will make them almost an unstoppable force. Both sides being extremely athletic as well. Chassis. Fantastic catch from Hop. One-handed. Dicing into the hands of the gentle player. Miscommunication. Quick pop in. Call back out. Travel call.
Yeah, he may have jumped after he caught the disc there, but
Evans isolated in the front of the end zone, nice and simple, but gets it to Callens. Gentle doing what Gentle does best, popping it into the end zone for a point. They are 1 point away from taking this game. It is now 14-3.
the push pass for the score to Callens there. He has a fan back home, his son Elliot, who is also an Ultimate player and his dad's biggest fan. Hello, Elliot, if you are watching.
I feel like having commentated a few Masters games now, it's a very unique experience of giving shout outs to different family members of sons, daughters, wives, husbands, partners. You don't necessarily get that from other generic senior or junior divisions. You obviously don't get that in junior divisions, that would be very strange. But it's adorable. I like being able to say hi to different family members like this.
Gives you a nice warm, fuzzy feeling in this cold, rainy day.
The only thing keeping me warm. So Gentle bringing out their D-line. Are they able to get another break from this Uratau side? Storming down with the second bid, but just out of the hands of Amaya. Trappers. Fast dump and swing. A beautiful bid from Beltran. Callens saying, "You okay?" "Yes, everything's fine. That was a great bid." Uratau back on offense. Amaya again just out of the hands. Too fast for the gentle players. Too fast for me to keep up with as well.
They've got to have some patience on those turns sometimes. The quick turn is, while it's a good look, it's not always the right one.
So Amaya walking up to the end zone line with the disc to bring it back in. Lots of players isolated in the middle. Mendoza, again, just too far for Amaya to catch up to Andre, but some sort of foul. Seems to be uncontested. And another violation call. Trappers now on disc.
Yeah, I think just not all the Uratau players were ready when the disc was tapped in.
Lee. Looking for options. Finds a dump from Verbus. Little bit of a slip from both the player and the disc in his hands.
Definitely was thinking about his throw, as he did have a wide open Callens in the end zone. Just couldn't catch it first.
Beltran. Back into the end zone for a Callahan for the win! Gentle open, taking this game 15-3, finishing off with a Macked Callahan into the end zone.
What a finish for this game. That was amazing.
Gentle showing exactly what they wanted to do with this game. Get it wrapped up really quickly, get it moving. They loved their pops into the end zone, but just to top it off, Uratau showing them a lot of respect, and Uratau having improved throughout the game. That was impressive.
But what a good birthday present for Verbost's son, Isaac. Happy birthday. I'm going to give you a Callahan.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in on this game. Make sure that you catch up to the rest of the live coverage that we will be having all week. So we've got pitch 1 for the rest of today. We will be joining in with a second pitch from tomorrow. Everything will be live and free from the WFDF YouTube channel.
We are copyright 2022, the World Flying Disc Federation. Next up, we will have Soup.
Alti.tv.